The Dallas Cowboys just got away with this, so we're going to be going through that and 3 other stories in today's video. So make sure to like this video, and if you want more Dallas Cowboys news content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel by hitting that red button down below. The first story is Davante Adams wants trade to Dallas Cowboys, and Dak Prescott's contraction extensions start to heat up. Davante Adams is still frustrated with the Raiders, even after a win that moves Las Vegas to 3-3. "I'm a human being, and I have extremely high standards for myself in this offense," Adams said. "I'm sure people are thinking, they won the game? Why is there an issue? I mean, you see why it's an issue. Y'all should know who I am, know what I'm about at this point. When you're a player like me mentally, my benchmark is not wins and losses. It's greatness." These remarks have naturally led to trade speculation, and in one case, some trade comedy. Cowboys watcher Tom Downey is the perpetrator of the latter as he tweeted, "Davante Adams wants to be a Cowboy. He thinks he and CeeDee Lamb would be the best WR duo in the NFL. Knows Mike McCarthy would actually feature him and thinks Dak is a massive upgrade over the QBs he's had in Vegas." The Dallas Cowboys know who their quarterback will be for the foreseeable future. Dakota Prescott. Entering his 8th season in a Cowboys uniform, Prescott will finish 2023 with 1 year left on the 4-year extension he signed in 2021. Unfortunately for the front office, that final year comes at a high cost. On his current deal, Prescott will have almost a $60 million hit against the 2024 salary cap. NFL insider Diana Rossini of The Athletic says the Cowboys see a new contract extension with their franchise signal caller could be the solution. Through the ups and downs, Prescott has consistently had the organization's support. With that in mind, when will the Cowboys extend Prescott's contract? Cowboys executive Stephen Jones told me while walking out of the Omni Hotel this week, "He's under contract now, but we'd like to do this after the season. Once the season is over, we will focus on that. Dak will be our quarterback." Rossini also points out the $60 million cap hit would be on the wrong side of an NFL record, and Prescott has a no-trade, no-tag clause in his contract. Prescott has been highly productive in Dallas during the regular season, leading the team to a 65-38 record, but with a 2-4 playoff record. The 2 playoff wins have never gotten the Cowboys to an NFC championship season, a long-running problem for the franchise. Hopefully that will change in 2023. The Cowboys finally have the best defense during Prescott's tenure at quarterback. Still, bad losses to the Arizona Cardinals and San Francisco don't give Cowboys fans much confidence in rewriting a 27-year drought, NFC Championship Superbowl drought. It will be an interesting final 3 months of the season as the calendar approaches November, with Dallas taking on some of the top powerhouses of the NFL. Between now and the end of the year, the Cowboys will play the Philadelphia Eagles twice, the Seattle Seahawks, Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, and Detroit Lions. Stephen Jones may want to extend Dak Prescott this offseason, but they might already have their answer come January or February. Hopefully for number 4, he'll be on the right side of Cowboys history. The second story is Osa Odighizuwa's is the secret weapon for Dallas Cowboys. With the 75th pick of the 2021 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys selected Osa Odighizuwa, defensive tackle from UCLA. The Cowboys had 11 picks in the 2021 draft, and much to the delight of new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, 7 of those picks were on defense. An absolute gem of a pick at 12th overall, Micah Parsons tends to overshadow the rest of the draft class. Osa cannot be lost in the shuffle, as he has arrived on the scene after his first 2 seasons were up to par with what you expect from a third-round pick. Over his first 2 seasons, Odighizuwa started 29 out of a possible 33 games and was a huge part in turning around an historically bad 2020 defense. He received a good amount of playing time early on, with his only competition being veteran journeyman Carlos Watkins and Brent Urban. In 33 game appearances, Osa racked up 79 tackles, 14 tackles for loss, 11 quarterback hits, and 6.0 sacks. More than respectable numbers for a third-round pick, but Osa has taken his game to another level in 2023. Let's take a look specifically at his impact so far this season and what it means both for he and the Cowboys moving forward. Most of what we discuss in this article will be in comparison to just how far the defense has come since the firing of Mike Nolan after the 2020 season. Enter Dan Quinn, a defensive coordinator with head coach experience and the coordinator of one of the best defenses in NFL history, the Legion of Boom. We all know how those Seattle defenses wrecked offensive game plans and gave quarterbacks nightmares for years. Despite the improvements, the run defense has still been one of the only weak areas the past 2 seasons. This year, Osa is a large part of the improvement in that area. Dallas currently ranks 17th in the NFL in rush defense, giving up 111.7 yards per game. It might not seem like that's a good ranking, but compared to 129.3 yards per game last season, it's a huge improvement. Osa is already more than halfway to matching his past 2 seasons on each of the major milestones on rush defense, tackles and tackles for loss. In 2021, he reached 36 tackles and 6 tackles for loss. In 2022, those numbers grew to 43 tackles and 8 tackles for loss. So far this season, in just 6 games, those numbers stand at 21 tackles and 6 tackles for loss. Extrapolated over the next 11 games into a full season, Osa is projected to finish with 59 tackles and 17 tackles for loss. Both would mark career highs for him. If you think Osa has grown as a run defender, his pass rush is what has stuck out more so far in 2023. The Cowboys sport a fierce pass rush that is widely considered the deepest in the league. Led by Micah Parsons, the Dallas pass rush also features players like DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong, and Dante Fowler Jr. The success of one of these players getting a sack is celebrated like a win for the entire defensive line, and Osa has had plenty to celebrate so far. Osa has 3.0 sacks and 6 quarterback hits in 6 games so far in 2023. Those numbers in 2021 were 2.0 sacks and 11 quarterback hits, and grew to 4.0 sacks and 11 quarterback hits in 2022. Thus far in 2023, Osa's numbers stand at 3.0 sacks and 6 quarterback hits. Once again, extrapolated over the remaining 11 regular season games, those numbers grow to 8.5 sacks and 17 quarterback hits, both career highs. Stats aren't even the first indication at how far Odighizuwa has come as a player. Simply watching him play, it's apparent he is a different player in 2023. Honestly, if he keeps up this pace, a huge payday is what's in store for the defensive tackle from UCLA. Osa's trajectory in his player development is pointing upwards with no sign of slowing. Defensive line coach Aden Durd raves about Osa's development at every opportunity and has been a huge part in that. Odighizuwa put himself on a training regimen this past offseason that mirrors the workout plan of 3X Defensive Player of the Year and 9X All-Pro Aaron Donald. Osa is the better player for it, and it has been showing on the field. There is so much chatter about this Dallas Cowboys defense being one of the best to ever line up on the field, and Osa Odighizuwa is a large part in that. The third story is Dallas Cowboys fined for violent hits on Chargers. A trio of Dallas Cowboys have been punished for their involvement in a variety of incidents in the team's Week 6 win at the Los Angeles Chargers, with more punishment to come for future behaviors across the league when it comes to fighting. Taking a financial hit for their unnecessary roughness hits in the 2017 win on Monday night are defensive end Dorrance Armstrong, safety Marquise Bell, and safety Jaron Kearse. Armstrong and Kearse will each pay a fine of $21,855, while Bell will owe $4,681. The second quarter hit involving Kearse is one the Cowboys and Kearse himself consider a tricky one. He was fined for a helmet-to-helmet tackle of LA quarterback Justin Herbert, a play that also drew a 15-yard penalty flag during the game, and a subject of debate because Herbert began the process of a slide while Kearse was already lined up to make a tackle. Kearse's hit also drew a 15-yard penalty during the game, but arguably the biggest issue going forward in the NFL announcing on Sunday its plan to crack down on the sort of brawls that took place before a handful of games last week, including one at LA, in which Dallas defensive end Dante Fowler took a swing at the head of Chargers running back Austin Eckler, the blow fully knocking Eckler's helmet off his head. Defensive tackle Mozzie Smith and defensive end Sam Williams were among the small army of Cowboys who engaged a similar number of Chargers who all got into the middle of the action. A similar altercation happened before the start of the Week 6 game between the Cleveland Browns and San Francisco on Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-2 after their first 6 games of the 2023 season and have reached their week to reflect. That's a good enough record to be firmly inside the playoff race a third of the way through the year. But there are questions about who the Cowboys are after an uneven final few weeks of the opening slate. Making the playoffs would be nice. It's one of the goals for the team, but the Cowboys aren't in this to just make the postseason. Their sights are set much higher. Winning the NFC East, being one of the final 4 teams, and ending the Super Bowl drought were all being talked about as Jerry Jones' team broke training camp. That's all still attainable, but Dallas has things they need to improve on to make those things possible. Offensive play calling is something they need to improve on. There was a lot of positive talk about the Cowboys and their new offense under the Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer umbrella this offseason. Dubbed the Texas Coast offense, the expectations were that quarterback Dak Prescott would get the ball out of his hands quicker, make higher percentage throws, and limit his turnovers.